Hi friends, today is all about pumpkins and wreaths. All for fall, all easy to do, affordable Dollar Tree, Michael's type of supplies, and I am so excited to show you. So let's do this.
Hi, I'm Lisa Marie, and welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life. I love to do videos on interesting topics, DIY, crafts, quizzes, anything. We can live our best life doing whatever makes us happy. I hope you'll join me.
Fall DIY number 1 is our first wreath, and I use the Dollar Tree wreath form. I think it's the largest one they have, and I've got some flowers from Dollar Tree as well as some floral tape. And I'm using my little wire cutters to cut off a couple of the circles. I think there were 4 circles on this wreath, and I only wanted 2 for this particular wreath. I love these wreath forms because you can make up to 4, I think, wreaths out of them if you only used a single circle. And then I'm going to take some rope that I believe I got from Walmart, and I'm going to just start wrapping it around. I'll use the hot glue to fix it to the first starting point. Then I'm going to kind of, not tightly, but just in little loops, go around and around and around until the whole entire wreath is filled up with the rope. And it's going to create a really pretty design, and not like just little lines going around, but more of a loopy kind of a look. And it just kind of makes it feel more full. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm just kind of, going around, and then as I go around each time, I put the rope next to the rope that's already there, and that way you create this look. And I really, really like it. It takes a little bit longer, or maybe it takes the same. It just feels like it takes longer. And, I'm going to speed this up, of course, so you don't have to watch the whole process. But I do like texture. If you watch my videos, if you know me, I try to add texture to everything. It just kind of makes it more visually interesting. And I'd like to mention, if you like my videos, if you enjoy watching these, definitely hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, I would invite you to subscribe. It really helps my channel grow. And of course, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page under the same name as my channel. It would mean so much to me if you would visit those and go ahead and follow me there. That would be awesome. And now it's time for me to just glue that last little piece down now that it's over, and I'll just cut off the end. And now you can see the kind of pattern that it shows you. It's a little more visually appealing, I think. I really liked it. I love that you can wrap your wreath any way you want, and that's the beauty of doing these kind of crafts. You get to add your own flair. And now I'm just going to take the flowers that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut them off of the pick so I can place them how I'd like. I've also got some off-white berries. And what I'm going to do is just a side wreath. So I'm only going to put the greenery and the flowers and so forth on the side. It will be on the left side visually when it's hanging up. So I'm figuring out what I want going upward and what I want going downward, and that's what I'm arranging right now. Another thing is that you don't have to make everything symmetrical unless that's what you want to do. And again, this all comes down to your style and your taste and what looks good in your home, or what just feels good creatively. I tend to process things as I go. I don't always have a plan. I just like the colors and I start playing with it. So you'll see me start off with things and then add other things, and I may not know what all my supplies are going to be when I first start, because I like to flow in the creativity, and that's just the way I work best. Now that I decided what I want to be together on each side of that wreath, I'm using the floral tape to put those pieces together around the stem. It'll just make it a little bit easier to attach. And this isn't the kind of wreath where I'm going to shove that much on the inside, so that's another reason I wanted to use the floral tape. If it was a grapevine wreath, this would be different. I'd just be stuffing everything inside of the grapevine, and this one's just a little bit different than that. Anytime you have a narrower wreath, then you have to kind of camouflage some of those extra stems and find a way to make that look visually appealing. So now I have attached one side, and I did put a little bit into the rope, but not a lot will fit, and so I'm trying to get as much as I can so that you can't see it. Here it is placed, one above, one below, and I'm going to start working on a bow, and I found this really cool burlap ribbon with some lace going down the middle at Dollar Tree. So I bought some, and I'm going to cut some sections because I want to have a bunch of different loops, and I'm going to end up tying it around the middle, but it didn't really bunch up nice, so I kind of cut the middle like with little V's like that, and then I tied the rope around. It's actually just twine, and then I could turn it over and then arrange those little bows. I can just kind of, there's wire in there so I can kind of move them around, and that's how that looks. I also cut a tail so that that would hang down and just cut the edges. And I did decide to tie that through the center around the wreath. And here's the finished product. I actually have it hanging over a project I did a couple months ago where I put a bunch of picture frames together and made a wall hanging of a mirror. It looks kind of like a window, and I'll put the link to that video in the description below. And just a couple different angles so you can see how it looks from the side as you're coming up to it. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the color. I love it's sort of subtle. It's not overpowering, but it's got fall in it, and it's just really, really sweet. Fall DIY number 2 is also a wreath. I used a single piece from that wreath form, and this one's going to look very different. I took some fern that came out of a Dollar Tree pick, and I took individual leaves and I hot glued them all the way around the entire ring. And then I got some fall leaves in 3 different colors. I cut them off a garland from Dollar Tree, and I kind of placed them so that the same colors were not touching each other. And I know I could have stopped right here, but I did feel like it needed something more. So I got out my nautical rope that I got from Dollar Tree. It was either Dollar Tree or Amazon, and I decided to kind of go around in a very loose, loopy way, and I'm kind of calling it a lasso wreath. And what I did is I made sure that the rope was glued down the center of each leaf spine. I found this cute little light up wooden stand at Dollar Tree that says blessed. You can see the little light in there. And I removed the word blessed from the front, and I'll try to use the rest of that for another project. The first thing I did is I painted the sign with the home decor, the folklore color sheepskin, and then I decided to distress it with Waverly's antique chalk paint. And it still wasn't enough, so I darkened it up a bit. And then I got this idea that maybe I need it to kind of shine a little. So I took my Arteza acrylic marker in the color bronze, and I just kind of scored it up and down. And it actually makes it look more like wood, and then I took a little black around the edges of the letters just to make them stand out more, and now put some Mod Podge on it, and I think it looks great. And I hung it with twine in the center of the wreath, and that's it. I love this one. It's just so cute, and it definitely fall. Those colors are very vibrant. You know, and I've never seen a wreath quite like this, so if you have, let me know. Otherwise, maybe I came up with something. The lasso wreath, that's it. Fall DIY number 3 is another wreath and our final wreath. And be sure to stay to the end because I have some amazing glam pumpkins to show you. Now I got this wreath form at Michael's because it was at least 30 inches, and I got some of the flowers at Michael's and everything else is from the Dollar Tree. With the grapevine wreath, I'm able to actually tuck the stems inside of the sticks of the grapevine. They just stick in there really well, and I did eventually glue everything down once I had it positioned exactly where I wanted it to be. And this one I made for our granddaughter. She recently bought a house and wanted to fill this really tall wall with a huge wreath. We talked about what she was looking for, and I grabbed these gorgeous flowers. She wanted them to be that kind of cream white color. I used some fern, I used some eucalyptus, some baby's breath, and I did the half wreath. That's what she wanted. So it goes up on the first part and down on the second part. And then I created a bow out of burlap, 2 different kinds, the kind I used before with the lace in it and the kind without, and it just turned out beautiful. It's really large and definitely a statement piece. And of course, the most important thing of all is that she loved it, which made me very, very happy. Let me know what you think of it. And fall DIY number 4 is my favorite. Not really into orange pumpkins too much, but I found these 3 orange styrofoam pumpkins at the Dollar Tree. And I used a little sharp blade to cut around the top. You see there's a circle there, so it made it very easy, and they're hollow. So you just cut around that line that's already there for the circle and take the lids off with the little stem. And then I used 3 different colors of paint by Waverly: plaster, celery, and mineral. I wanted to use neutral colors since I was going to glam them up. Here they are all painted, and they look so much better than when they were orange, at least in my opinion. Of course, if you decide to try this, you can do them in any color that you like. It took a good 2 coats to really cover that orange completely. For the pumpkin that I painted plaster, I used these adhesive fake diamonds from the Dollar Tree, and I cut them into strips, and they just adhered right on there. You don't have to use glue or anything. I calculated how many strips I needed for each of the indentations on the pumpkin. This was the only pumpkin I was going to use the top. I had 3 pumpkins, and I took 2 of the stems to create one big stem for the one pumpkin. I used the Folklore metallic paint in sterling silver to paint the lid and the stems that I put together, and that kept with the glam look. And then I placed them on top, and I used some more of those little fake diamond adhesives and did a couple rows around the stem, and there it is. I love this pumpkin. It's so cute. For the next glam pumpkin, this is the one that I painted mineral. I'm going to use some succulents and moss balls that I got at the Dollar Tree. In order to cover the opening a little bit, I'm going to glue with hot glue the moss balls all the way around so there's only a little hole left in the center. I chose 3 different succulents and I placed them in the center until I thought they looked good, and then I attached them with hot glue as well. I love this one. It kind of has a boho feel to it. The final pumpkin that I painted in celery, I decided to use my Folklore gold paint, it's metallic, to do a chevron pattern all the way around. I took some really pretty white florals and some greenery and put them inside, and I just love how it turned out. I love these pumpkins so much, and I want to keep them up till after Thanksgiving. So I came up with an idea. I found these little letters at the Target little dollar section when you first walk in the door, and they had the words grateful and thankful, which I painted with the silver metallic Folklore paint, and I attached them to 2 of the pumpkins using just a couple drops of hot glue, and they're just perfect. They're just like my new favorite thing ever. I love them so much. Let's just take one last look at all the projects. The large wreath, the lasso blessed wreath, and then of course my little half wreath that I placed over my faux window project. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.